before we start, we are going to have our very first global bistro, which is a time where we get to discover the world through its delicacies. So let's welcome our special guest on the stage so that they can share this moment with us. Hello, Tanya.
Hey, everybody.
Hello.
Hi.
Welcome onto the Mix Live.
Welcome to the Mix Live, yes. And welcome to the Global Bistro. We are so glad that you are here to join us today. And so we each have prepared a dish that is, I think, specific to a specific part of the world, maybe, that we're going to share with each other and with our audience. So let's get to it.
So Tanya, do you want to go ahead and share your dish first?
Sure, absolutely. Here in Canada, we have a restaurant called White Spot, and this is where it all started for me. It's my heritage. It's why I was born. My parents they met there, and my dad, when they renovated White Spot, brought home a cooktop, and every Saturday morning he would cook us waffles with fresh strawberry. The thing that I'd like to say about this meal that's the most important is that we eat all our meals as a family around our kitchen table. And so that has been going on for almost 20 years now. And it's a tradition of our culture that I really love in our family. And I'm looking forward to tasting what this is going to taste like.
All right, so moving on, we are on the west coast of Canada, but because my roots are on the east side of the world, I'm taking you to Japan. And in Japan, breakfast goes around a bowl of rice. And this is where we get into the delicacy. Now, this is the delicacy. This is called natto. And it is sticky, slimy, fermented soybeans. And it is extremely healthy, very, very good for you. And what you do is you take your sticky beans and you put them on top of your rice, like this.
Wow.
And then you might take some green onions and just pop those on top, like that. And that is your dish. It's called natto rice, or in Japanese, natto gohan. And that's going to be a very, very common part of breakfast, whether you are in the countryside or staying at a first-class traditional Japanese hotel. This is going to show up on your breakfast table.
Wow.
Very cool.
That's pretty cool. Is that beans you said?
It is soybeans, and they are fermented, which is what gives them this sticky, slimy. They really, really are sticky. Like these threads, they go on forever. So it's always a big challenge. Cheese. It's not cheese. And basically, most people who are not Japanese take one look and smell, and they run. Because it looks horrible. It smells worse. I'm used to it now, but it's probably the closest comparison is either dirty feet or a very, very pungent cheese.
You're not selling it to us.
You're not.
And even in Japan, it's a love-hate. People either love it or they hate it. There is no in between. I hated it. It was, in my opinion, it was not food. I didn't consider it food. My ex-husband, when we were not exes, used to try and hide it in food because he was convinced, it was one of those, you've just never had it prepared the right way. So he used to hide it in stuff. And I would always know because he'd be watching me. And I'd be like, you put natto in this, didn't you? And but when I was pregnant with my first child, he made the decision. He said, you know what? I don't care how much you dislike this. You're going to consider it medicine because it is that good for you. And you're going to eat it. And he made me eat it every day. And about 3 or 4 months into my pregnancy, I found that pretty soon I was like, honey, we're out of natto. You got to get me some more. And now I love it.
Wow. Thank you so much for sharing. Like, I don't know if I want to try. I'm not like, I don't know.
Natto is a no from me.
I have a very small person right next to me who is eyeing this and waiting for me to pass it on to her.
Can we see her have a bite? Can we see her have a bite? Go ahead, Anna. Go ahead. Let's see.
Good. Have a bite. Have a bite. with the nut though, honey.
She's like, do I have to?
I put the green onion. She doesn't like the green onions. She likes the nut though. She doesn't like the green onions.
Yum.
You gotta do this spirally thing to get rid of the strings because the strings. These are
Thank you so much, Anna. Christopher, why don't you go next?
Okay, so my family is from Cape Verde Islands, West Africa, and one of our biggest dishes ever that I absolutely am addicted to is called cachupa. We also can eat it for breakfast, lunch, or dinner. So full disclosure, it takes hours to create this dish. So I brought the ingredients, and then I have a good story behind it if you guys are ready for that.
We
Cool.
are.
Okay, so in this dish, it started, and I was always told this story as a child. I don't know how much of it's true, but it started off with one person in Africa making a soup with just broth. And of course, in our country, you know, especially back then, it was very poor and we didn't have many resources. So she was making a broth, and then they smelled the aroma around this broth. And one person went to the home and said, hey, I don't have much to give. I have lima beans. If I give you my lima beans, can you add it to your broth? And together we could eat it. And the person said, of course, I'll add it to the broth and then we could have that together. And the next person came to the home and said, hey, I don't have much, but I have harmony, which is like a corn. Can you add that to your broth? And this continued until one by one, the entire village, we'll call it a village. The entire village made it to this home and just was giving different items, and they had this huge stew, this gumbo, this soup that they all shared together. So it showed that by yourself you're okay, but with many people you could have an amazing feast. So cachupa is absolutely amazing. What we traditionally do, I love it fresh right then and there. But my sister prefers it the next morning. You fry it and add an egg on top. She's obsessed. We call it cachupa hafugad. But you can have it anywhere. So that is my delicacy from the Cape Verde Islands to you all.
So on to me. All right. So it's very funny, and this is weird. Like it seems like three of us have beans on their plates, which is weird.
I noticed that. Beans for breakfast.
It wasn't one, but let me grab my dish. Right. So I am originally from Cameroon in Central Africa. So we eat beans. I hope you guys see. And then you can make a roasted chicken with that and a grilled plantain. So basically that's like an entire plantain that was just grilled. And I made it myself. Can you guys see it?
Kudos to you.
Trying to see, like,
I'm just going to throw in here that Inrich is an amazing cook, and I cannot wait to get over there and eat her food.
I wish you guys can see more. But basically, that's my dish.
Looks delicious.
And you know what? Since that we are there,
jealous.
It's yummy.
Inrich looks like she needs a minute.
Actually, I might need a minute.
Tanya, you can pass me the waffles and we can just have a good just slide it over to the screen.
I might need a minute. I am so glad that we had this moment together. I appreciate you guys sharing and telling us a little bit about your world. It's always fun to discover new dishes and menu from wherever people are from. So this is pretty cool, and we hope to keep doing it. So if anyone from the audience want to be part of this, they can definitely send us the video of their food and just telling us where they're from and why that dish is so important for them. So we're very, very happy to share that.